reason, but why? What is it about reason? What kind of reason? What kind of enlightenment? So these are mathematical questions that I've been looking at, and then if the antidote is meditation and spirituality and prayer and so on, then what kind of spirituality? What kind of meditation? What kind of prayer? And how does that work mathematically? How many enlightened people do you need in a given country to bring it back to a sort of rational happiness course? You see, to me, happiness is not against reason. When Christ taught the Sermon on the Mount, he said, "Happy are those who are pure in heart, for they will see God." You know, it's to bring people to happiness that teachers teach. That poor man who's had his head chopped off was trying to help his kids find happiness, including the Muslim kids. You know, so these are mathematical questions. I mean, how many more decapitations does Europe have to have before it says enough is enough, and sort of somehow brings in some more effective educational remedies for these kind of fanatics? So I'll just leave you with those mathematical puzzles, really, I've been musing on in this last week, and working quite hard on it. And now, if my cat will allow me, I'm going to finish with a poem, as is my wont on these Sunday evening things. Now, there's lots of poems to choose from. Yes, I don't know which I want to share. Okay, I'll do the finger on the page, it's the only way. Okay, this is a poem I wrote in Cordoba when I went on pilgrimage to a conference in the south of Spain, in what used to be called, well, it's called Andalusia, and it was the place where the Muslims, the Christians and the Jews realised that scholarship is better than warfare. And it's where Ibn Rushd came from, Maimonides came from Cordoba, and Ibn Arabi, a great Sufi, was there in his youth. And I always feel at home when I get back to Cordoba. It's like my town. I think back in the day, these kind of talks were what they were talking about, you know. That's what they wanted, a sort of universal harmony of religions based on intellectual and spiritual transformation and breakthroughs. So hats off to Cordoba, and I went on a pilgrimage, took part in a conference there, and this is the poem that came out. It's called At the Grand Mosque of Cordoba. What is it that we're holding up? I'm slender and marble and bulbous and tall as a tree, but I'm tired. What is it that I'm holding up? What angles from what platforms am I making possible? What connection to what mihrab, and which east, and whichever possible turning measurement as Sol and Gaia pirouette their old love story? What tree with cross beams carved by a cruel carpenter to end what conversations have I heard? Artemis, huntress of souls, have you caught in your nets us seekers, wanderers, we who come as pilgrims of the Absolute? Have you caught us yet in your snares of wisdom? I've dozens of columns. We're holding up as old hearts, paper thin, and walls that keep light out, and let light in. Midway amidst our sternum and our bellies, full of stories, micro and macro, turning around. Each day a new advent, a new story. Us two-leggeds and old columns are footsore. What are we holding up from necks, craning, arched? Now, the journey to go on is to get back where you set out from, at a higher turn of the spiral. In the waiting, it's challenging to become a single piece of gold in a larger mosaic. I'm a trunk now, a smooth barked tree, and my leaves are soft, going way up, green and diaphanous, like a dancer's see-through dress, trembling in the light. That's what I'm for. I'm for downloading light. As each column mirrors each other, stones, legs and trees. But which came first? Which awoke to the rafters and psalters above, first and last? And from which flames were we saved? And which were also saved from the flames? And to which flames and circles recircled at last, at first, in indecipherable scraps of poems, in strange dialects, of eagles. Above the apse, inside, the Logos looked down and winked. Okay, right, let's go.